Go. Right. Good morning. My name is Louis. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us today. It's a great privilege to have you on our show. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. It's great to be here, and it's great to have the coach of Linden I also with us.
Yes,
Morning, morning. Thank you for having me.
yes. Right. I will start us off. How long have you been in charge of rugby at Linden?
So this is now my third year. So I started at 20 in 2024. Yeah,
Okay.
24. And yeah, it's been a ride. I can tell you it's been a ride, but yeah, I enjoy every single minute of it.
Right.
It's really
Brilliant.
a good opportunity to see the school grow and the school's rugby program grow also.
Right. Steve?
As you know, that both myself and Louis, we are ex pupils from Randburg High, ex scholars from Randburg High,
Yes.
and we all know how incredible the derby between Randburg High and Linden is. I remember in the late 90s when we were in school, we used to do silly things like stealing the emblem of Linden High, and they did the same just to get a bit of the
Yeah.
vibe up. Tell us a bit why the derby between Randburg High and Linden is so important for the schools, for both schools.
So I explained to Louis just before we started that for me it was quite new coming in because I didn't understand the magnitude of this
Yes.
fixture, as you can say it. Um, yeah, well, so before I came here, I just saw it as another match, and because I was at other schools and I was coaching at Monash also at some stage, and I
Wow.
understood that big derby, which also took place this weekend, and I knew that was big, but I myself into the first year when we also played Randburg at Randburg for the derby.
Mm,
And just to answer your question, I think it just brings the community together.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, the one that was on top, and then Randburg was on top, and then it was like a roller coaster ride up and down. But
Yes.
through all that, it still stood as it still stands as the only classic clash in the Greater Johannesburg,
Yeah.
which is then backed by FNB also,
Wow.
which also tells you that it's quite big and if you're not there, you won't understand how many people just pack into these two schools.
Yeah.
It's really a big thing.
Mm,
And like you said, you know from experience that the things that goes on around it is even bigger. So this is also now the first time I think in quite a while where we have we're playing the netball is playing on next week Thursday. The
Yeah.
hockey is playing on Friday. So becoming a type of an inter-schools thing also, which
yes.
hopefully in the future it can take off, and there can be things like playing chess and tennis and all those things in the week.
Absolutely.
It's also it's a good thing that both schools are now also playing in the same league also,
Mm.
which also makes it a bit more at stake than just the derby. Because it's also about log points. It's also about those things that it's also counting in our favor or their favor. It depends on how you see it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just put the emphasis on a derby, which you play midweek and you still have to focus on your league. So
Mm.
so there's a lot more at stake. So I think it's going to make it even a bit bigger than it used to be.
Oh, that's
Brilliant.
wonderful. And from a coaching perspective, what is the kind of coaching style that you want your team to play?
So I took over from the first team only after the April holidays. Our first team forward coach was he got an opportunity to go work in the Western Cape.
Okay.
So I'm at the under 15s and and the first team also, and we try to implement the same system throughout the school.
Okay.
So when I came in 3 years ago, I started writing a blueprint for London Rugby, where we try to get all the teams, just to get them into a system, to give them a place to go at each phase, and then from there they can play rugby. So we try to play a structured game, And then from that structure, we can create an open play or create chaos, as they say. So it's yeah. So that's the new buzzword in world rugby is to create chaos and then play from there. And
Okay.
and it is difficult when there wasn't something before I came in that was in for all the teams. So, but we can see the fruit coming through from our under 16s and our seniors from
Mm.
trying to play the same type of game throughout. And some people might say that you become predictable, but I just say if you do something well enough, people can know what you do. You just
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do it better than they know how you do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so we do play a structured game. Very focused on our link between our forwards and our backs.
Right.
So we don't pride ourselves in just being one dimensional and just having one. Um, I can see, like I say, one trick in the bag. We do try a few different things, and if something doesn't work, we don't force it. We try and work with the group that we have also.
Right.
So it's not like I try to enforce this type of game plan at each group because you've got different types of players and
Right.
different strengths in each team. So
Yes.
if one team's strength is a bit more forwards, then we start, doing things that implement them more before we hit our backs. If it's more backline focused, then we try and move it a bit around a bit more, and then after that chaos, we bring in the forward. So it's not a
Oh,
set
right.
game plan that each team has to play. We try and focus on each team's strong points in that systems that we try to create.
Right. Steve?
We've now had interviews with several coaches. Interview with Bastian's coach. We had an interview with even some of the bigger schools like Great College, even Nudge College from Australia, also Paul Boys High. When
Yes.
we look at challenges, especially with your medium schools and school,
Mm.
I know that some of the smaller schools immediately say their biggest challenge is competing with the big schools, especially when it comes to the capital and the money. What will
Yes.
you say as a community in London is the biggest challenge that you as a coach face and that the community face in order to compete with the top guns?
Well, to be honest, yeah, it is difficult because there is only a handful of primary schools,
Mm.
Yeah,
and each school wants the best kids to come to them.
Mm.
So it's
absolutely.
it's not. I don't think it's the problem or anyone does something wrong or whatever. But I think it's just the fact that there is bigger schools that come in from outside of the province also and take, well, not take, identify
Mm.
the Premier Week players or the better players. And
Mm.
they come with lucrative offers for some of
Mm.
those
Yeah,
boys,
Yeah.
which you can't compete with. Some schools do give bursaries, some don't.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, if you want to keep the better players in your area, it becomes difficult because even the Pretoria schools are coming in in Randburg and
yeah,
taking these kids away from us, and even the school in the closer areas, the bigger schools are taking these boys away. And you now have to fight. Now, us and Randburg, we have to try and get
yeah,
the next player and try and coach them and develop them. And
Yes.
the problem with that is also now you develop a player from under 14 to under 16, you get him into a proper rugby player, and
yeah,
then some of the bigger schools just come and they give them a lucrative offer then.
Yeah.
I think so. So the cycle is difficult for the medium-sized schools, which
yeah,
doesn't have the capital, like you said,
Yeah.
to because now you have to fight to keep your kids.
Yeah.
So now a kid has to
absolutely.
go and a kid that you don't have the capital to have, or the bursary system. Now a boy wants to go to one of the bigger schools, even if it's down the road or whatever the situation is. Now you have to try and figure out how you're going to keep him there.
Yeah.
So that is a challenge. But I think if your rugby program is strong and healthy, and the
Mm.
kids
Yes.
want to be here, like by Linden, we've got kids that has had offers to go to other schools, but they enjoy it here. I think the pressure of performing isn't as high as in the higher schools,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
the top schools. And we always say this: there's a reason why. if you look at your medium-sized schools, if you look at the Springboks also now, it's not only the top schools that's represented in the Springbok team. It is some of your lesser known or your medium schools
Mm,
that are represented because we create a love for the game and we keep on creating the
absolutely.
love.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
just the pressure is taken off of that high performance system being the best every week. Otherwise, you're going to lose your place, and then you might not get back into your place.
Mm,
So I think it's a we need to find a balance in that, and being high performing, but also keeping the love for the game and not seeing it as a job
yeah.
at
Yes.
16 years old.
Yeah. So also when we were in matric uh, at Randburg, we were very fortunate to have 5 open teams, and
Mm,
already the rugby program and fixtures were already planned. And when the headmaster saw this, he was like, "Okay, hold on." He phoned every boys' school within Joburg to
mm.
say, "Listen, we've got 5 open teams. Just give them games." And
Yes.
although I think we only won 3 out of our 14 games or something, but we
I
had such a blast. And that
mm,
was the biggest thing for us
I
to
hear you.
just go and enjoy. The fondest memory I have was when we lost against Kes, like 47-0. And the headmaster looked at me and he's like, "So what was the score?" And I'm like, 47-0. And he started to smile. I'm like, "No, for them." And he's like, "Go. I don't want to talk to you." So, but
Yeah, it's not about the school always.
yeah,
So yeah, we were fortunate enough to field the first time. I don't know. I don't didn't go back in history. I don't really care about stats and stuff about history. I
mm,
care about things that's happening right now.
mm,
But
Yeah.
we fielded a third team against Hoërskool Hartbeespoort by us, and I don't know when last Lyndon did that. So it's
oh
quite. I
wow.
think it's quite a pat on the back for the coaches also
Oh, yes.
that create this. And it's boys that didn't play like for a year or two, and just to get them involved, and I can really give the coaches a pat on the back. Trying to get these boys on the field and
Mm,
giving them enough space to practice and doing their part also just to make it fun for these boys. Because hopefully, and that's the only way that you grow. These boys need to be on a field week in and week out. Otherwise, you lose your numbers,
oh yeah.
especially against and the section that we're playing. Most teams are struggling to put together B sides. Most schools.
Yeah.
It is the I think the goal for every school to have a full B side because then it just means that you're creating depth.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
in our league that we're playing now, there's a school that has also a fifth team, has up until D teams with the age groups, and then I mean you can't compete with numbers if you look at it like that because you're trying to just put 15 boys or 17 boys on the field at a B team, and they've got like D teams which has a full bench also. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
difficult, even in that section that we are playing.
Mm.
And if you're trying to move up, then they you need to have it because otherwise you're gonna be found wanting, eh?
Oh, yeah, true. Steve?
Yeah, you were sorry, you were mentioning the section that you're playing in. Tell us about the league that you guys are playing at the stage.
So yeah, last year we had an opportunity to move up from section 3 to section 2, where we grabbed it with both hands because I think just for growth, um, it is good to see
Yes.
that you're actually moving up. So
Brilliant.
so we moved up a league also. And now we're playing it. It's called the Leopards Lions Section 2. So it's a combination of,
Brilliant.
of two unions,
Mhm.
which is Brits, Hartbeespoort, Vryburg, at the Leopard side also. And then on our sides, Vogwel, us, Randburg.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so I think it's 8 teams. Riebeeck, and Vogwel, like I said.
Yeah.
So us, Vogwel and Riebeeck came up from section 3, and
Mhm.
then the teams that was left out on the Leopard side, they created a league for them also here by us. I think I missed Wagbos also, which is the strong school with the D teams and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a quite it's yeah, the rugby is a bit I can say a bit harder, just because now every week is competitive.
Yeah.
Um, because when we played in Section 3, we did have some teams from certain schools that were competitive, but then some of the lower teams or the lower grade teams, they really weren't competitive. So now the thing is just to compete every single week. I think just get you battle hardened also for the tougher games. For example, against Randburg last year, I was at the under 14s.
Yes.
We had a tough game against Riebeek Rand, which we played in the final of the Noordval also last year. So we played them quite a few times. And then Vogel was a tough one, but the rest was you could put your bench on half time, and you know it was still going to give them game time. So just to get that edge every single week and to make sure that you fight for your place in the league, I think just sharpens the boys' skills also, and it just creates a bit
Absolutely.
more competitiveness.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know a couple of years ago, Linden had like under 16 Easter festival that they hosted. Is that still
Mhm.
ongoing?
No, no,
Right.
I think I don't know how, I don't know when it was. I know some people have spoken about creating one again or bringing it up again or just getting something also. I just think there's too many of these festivals at the moment. So
Mm.
now you start your own one, and then you take schools away from well-established um, festivals also, and I'm all for growing the sport on every occasion and
Yes.
every place. But for me, Easter is about something else. So, so I don't play Easter. Well, I don't. Because we didn't go play Easter festivals just for that reason for now. And I know a lot of people in the area also feel the same. But there is people that enjoy the Easter festivals and that
Yeah.
I think there is a place for it also. So we just find other places to do it. So we went to the Rob de Bergsig toernooi the weekend after Easter, which is also a good festival to go and play in. It's just not at the time where people want to have family time and be in a
Yes.
family environment. But yeah, so like St. John's Easter Festival is one of the biggest ones I think in the world, and
Yeah.
it would be I think it would be an honor to play in those festivals also. But like I say, for me as a outspoken Christian, it's just not at the place where I want to be on a rugby field where I know I have to be at somewhere else.
Right.
Absolutely.
Steve?
We're talking about the Easter Festival. I'm glad that you mentioned it.
Hmm.
You know, we know that the South African's ranking system is about the top 200. And obviously, if you rank inside the top 100, which Linden is at this stage,
Yes, yes.
the opportunities you get is bigger than a school that's ranked outside the top 100.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you, as a school, get opportunities to play at festivals? And what does it? What is the benefits for the kids to play in festivals like that?
Yeah, so once again, there's two sides to the sword.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
go and play with the numbers that you have, full A team, which is competitive, and then touching on a B team. You always risk in those festivals, the risk of injuries is quite high
Mm.
because you're playing
Yeah.
um, like 3 games in 5 days or 2 games in three
Yes.
days or whatever the situation is.
Mm.
So yeah, we do get opportunities. Like I said, we do play in the USN Discovery, USN week at Camp Discovery over the March
Brilliant.
holidays, which is quite a good organized and a well organized like tour, if you can say it like that.
Mm.
And then we always also go to the Bergsig, like I said, the Drop Day festival also, which Martin Pelzer is running there by Bergsig. He's an extremely um, well-known rugby guy in the area. So yeah, and he's doing good things with Bersig also,
Okay.
and I think it's because of that. He's getting the school's name out there. I know
Brilliant.
it's a lot of work. But yeah, we also I just printed it out. We also have an opportunity. Pirates invited us to play against which is it? Coleraine Grammar School
Okay.
in
Oh,
the
wow.
yeah, the 2nd of July. Well,
Okay.
it's not, it's, I think this is the first time I'm actually telling someone about it. I just printed out it this morning, so I just have to go and tell the principal also we're playing against them. So
Yeah.
yeah, we do take hands with I started last year to taking hands with Pirates Rugby Club also. And when we have off time or I need game time, we play against their teams, and we've created quite a good bond with them also,
Okay.
in giving their kids opportunities to come and play by us also,
Yes.
Yes.
which wouldn't have had time because you get the homeschoolers or the boys in schools that's not playing rugby, but they want to play rugby throughout the year.
Yeah.
So we've given them the platform to also come and just enjoy rugby by Linden, and I think that's a big part of what our program stands for. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if it's your first year or you've played Kramer Week or if you think your SA schools play with your dad told you you're going to be a Springbok. We coach every kid the same. We're trying to get them
Brilliant.
to the same level,
Mhm.
and yeah. Just to get back to your to your question, we do get invited.
Brilliant.
I know. I'm just at the place, like I said, the numbers don't always allow you to go and play in every festival.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're taking a big risk because what is the actual important thing is your league matches and
Oh, yes.
getting into the Noordval again for where we are, and hopefully we can get there this year because that would be then the second year in a row that all of our teams would qualify for the Noordval.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so
That's good.
that's our goal at the moment is just to get all the teams qualified for that, so that we can have it that box also ticked, and then we go from there.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you are a teacher as well. So now,
Hmm.
because I'm a teacher as well, so now
Yes.
my question to you, if if the guys have do their shenanigans in the class and they go to the field, will you be like, okay, Louis, Steve, you guys did this and this and this wrong in class.
Hmm.
Now you get kicked out of the team, or you gonna sit on the bench or something like this? Or do you let it slide and like, okay, you had your shenanigans, now it's rugby.
Yeah. So it's a good question. So I try to compartmentalize each of my roles. The role as head of rugby, the role as a teacher, and the role as a rugby coach also.
Right.
I think there's different things that you have to do there. And I'm of the understanding that what you do in classroom, the teacher has to sort that out.
Yeah.
And the disciplinary head has to sort that
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
I'm here as a rugby coach after school, and that's my focus.
Right.
Because sometimes we all know boys will be boys. They do stupid things. They really do. They shouldn't quote me on this, but one of my main sayings is don't do stupid things,
Yeah.
especially the day before a match also. But like I said, boys will be boys, and at the end of the day, if they already get punished at school, why do I have to punish them at some place where they actually love what they're doing?
Right.
Yes, at some stage you have to draw a line if it gets to a point that it's uncontrollable.
Mm.
But yeah, we usually keep the rugby at the rugby and the school at the school.
Okay. Good. Steve?
Yeah, you were almost a kind of a connection to Louis' question. When it comes to selection criteria and policy, what is your
Mm.
selection policy on selecting a team? So I know when we were in the late 90s in Matric, our coach, he coached on the 14th, on the 15th, and the 16th, and then he took over the first team. So basically what he did is that the majority of the Matrics, he didn't get select them. He wanted to build a team for the future, and so he
Mm.
selected these under 16s and 17. What is your selection policy? Do you think about the future for next year, or do you go straight full on merit?
Well, luckily for now, like I said, luckily now we have B teams to do the development also there.
Okay.
So we try and, well, in the beginning of the year, the preseason, we try and get the boys equal game time. Like
Yes.
we have four props, you give them the same game time. Because like I said, the preseason is there for a reason.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
just to figure out your team, and then when the league starts, your stronger players start.
Yeah.
if they're available. And we are quite how can I say, set on that. If you don't practice on a say for a Thursday and a Friday, you don't play. You don't
Okay.
start.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
just because I know at some schools the best player can do what he wants and he still starts on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Which it does nothing for a team culture.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
so so yeah, trying to get the team culture also right by letting the boy that's at practice play might cost you a few points on a Saturday, but in the long run, it teaches that boy that you have integrity by sticking to your word.
Yes.
And then he also might think the future might happen in his life, and he would think, okay, I have
Yeah.
to do the right thing. And it's one of my coaching philosophies also. Yes, I'm here to coach rugby, but I want to leave you as a better person at the end of the day.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Because
Love it.
not all of these boys have the dream to go play rugby after school.
Yeah.
But if I
Yeah.
can impart something in them, just that they can take with into their jobs, into their homes, into their work lives, wherever they go.
Yes.
And I think that's what schoolboy rugby does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think it doesn't matter win, lose, which school you're at. If you can get that right, and the old saying is if you can get a boy to run through a wall for you, I think then then you've made a difference in his life, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Um, yeah, so it's lucky to work with these boys. It's lucky to work with boys that want to be there,
Yeah.
and just to give back to
Yes.
to their way of growing up and realizing that it's more than just a game actually.
Yeah.
It's creating friendships, it's creating
Correct.
camaraderie, it's creating a
Correct.
type of discipline that you would never have at any other place.
Correct.
Brilliant.
And from a coaching perspective, you are coaching the first team now at Linden. Do you want to coach Craven Week or even SA schools or even go up further?
So I've never had the dream of doing it.
Okay.
So I don't know. Some people they want to climb the ranks. If the opportunity comes along, then I grab it on with both hands. But
Right.
it's not one of my
Yeah.
goals
Okay.
to get there. It's I feel I'm planted here at the moment for the specific reason of being here and giving all
Yes.
my attention to these boys that we have here.
Okay.
And then when the door opens, it opens. If it doesn't open,
It
Brilliant.
doesn't.
it
Yeah.
doesn't open.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm giving all my time to the two teams that I have at the moment.
Right.
And I think at this moment it's enough for me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Steve?
Mm.
Awesome. Yeah, I see our time has come to an end. Andrew, from our side, we would like to thank you so much. We're looking forward to
Thank
your
you very
derby
much.
game against Randburg.
We will be
Going to be
there.
sending a team. Yeah, we're going to be sending a team to that match. So we'll be covering that match,
Okay.
and we can't wait.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to focus on our league game against Wagpos this week first, then we will start
Yeah.
focusing on our process for them.
Yes. So,
Okay.
but thank you very much for your time. It's been wonderful, and we hope that you will have a good season and all the best
Thank you
for the
very much.
season. And
Yes.
we will stay in contact. I will send you all the information regarding our groups and the magazine and things like this. Yeah, and then we will see you on the 23rd.
Great. Thank you for having me. And I really, like I say, I hope this platform goes worldwide so that people can know that
Thank
the
you.
medium-sized schools also have a voice and also
Yes,
have
Absolutely.
things
definitely.
to offer.
Definitely. Thank you
Great.
very
Thank you
much.
so much, guys.
Thank you,
All
Steve.
right.
Thank you, Louis. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.